nonetheless, it is going to be super delicious and really looking forward to it. So, without further ado, I do want to kind of, before I start diving into the actual gym footage, I gotta say I've been taking a different approach in terms of my comeback. I'm learning from what I did to my wrist and my elbow, and I'm learning from it. So this is, perk up if you want to take some knowledge from an old guy. This is where the title, Old Dog New Tricks, is coming from. So what I was doing before in my comeback was I was training, trying to get all my skills back, and really not limiting the number, but just making sure that I'm not trying things that are out of the realm that I thought was possible. Where I was like, all right, let's stay safe, progress. But some days I was taking close to 15, 20 turns on an event. And I realized that's probably where everything went wrong and why I was getting hurt so much. So with the past couple weeks, I've been writing down every single turn I take. So if you see here, you can't really see much. Floor, 11, 11. Floor, there's all my turns. Oh, I didn't really do floor too much. P-bars, there's all my turns. Floor, there's an abbreviation. P-bars, high bar. Yeah, I haven't really been marking my floor down. I've kind of gotten that down since that hasn't hurt me in a while. But all the events that I feel like I'm coming back on, I'm writing every single turn. And so what I've been doing is I'll take 10 turns. And let's say we'll just, for an example, throw pommel horse. So I started off doing a bunch of mushroom circles on the floor. And then I was like, all right, that's my first turn. I'm warming up. Then my second turn, let me do some Moors and Russians on the mushroom floor. And then the next time, it was like, all right, those are feeling good. Let me do some flares. That was my third turn. And then the fourth turn, I was like, all right, let's just try these out on the pommel horse. And so then I did a turn of Moors. And so that was like a turn of Russians and then a turn of flares. So that's 6 turns I took on, let's say, Tuesday. So then on Friday, I was like, all right, since these are all good, I am now going to put all these together in my first 2, 3 turns, so it doesn't take 6 turns, and then I can use the rest of the turns that I take in a day, which I try not to do any more than 10 turns on an event, but it's helping me to, compartmentalize skills that I have already acquired and feel safe doing without overdoing it or repeating, and then it gives me more time, more turns out of the... let's say 8. I now have 8 more turns because I did maybe 2 turns of what originally took me 6 turns the practice before. So now I have 8 turns to really progress in something new. And then once that week ends, I'll move on to my next Tuesday workout, and I'll compartmentalize what I did for that Friday practice into a little bit more so that I can progress somewhere else. And just really be smart about my turn taking and the impact that every turn has on my body, but also being able to, make sure that I'm not doing things that are harder on my body, and also adding turns. I'm making sure I do one at a time. And so that's the new philosophy that I've got with this, it feels like the third comeback or something, but, it's working well. I've got a lot of progress. And so with that, I do want to just start diving into the video real quick because, I'm in no hurry, but it's really this week was when I was able to finally start seeing the progress that I was talking about, where I'm, really making sure, hey, here's turn 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, next time I'm going to skip turn 1, 2, 3, 4 and just put them all into one. So this is where it's really starting to show. Oh, shoot, and Tucker here, before I actually begin, this is Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. Since our dogs are all named after How I Met Your Mother characters, this is the Marshall shirt. We actually need a Barney shirt. We haven't gotten one, but Mia has the Lily shirt. And Tara, that sounds like a really, really good Thanksgiving. Cherry pie is always a good way to go. That's Mia's favorite right there. And tips for not turning early on double Arabians. No, man, you got to turn early on double Arabians. If anything, it should feel like a round off half into a double front. That's my philosophy. And how I deal with forearm splints, take less turns, do more rehab with finger extension through a rice bucket, and have a long pull and do ranges of motion slowly 10 times like this while holding the pull with the long side on the far end so that it's looking like this. best ways to go. And Haley, yes, I did get butterflies, and it was a lot on high bar. But let's point out where these will all happen. Let me minimize myself really quickly. Let's go here, and now we are on to Monday, and let's talk some gymnastics. Oh, and what up, Finn? How are you doing today? Oh, I did not hit play. Whoops. There, now we'll actually get going. So yeah, starting on Monday, and I'm really getting better at figuring out this turning philosophy, where I'm reaching my left arm down. Oh, here, let's move this. Where I'm reaching my left arm down underneath me, and then reaching my right arm over and looking at the floor so that I do a half into a Rudy, and that can kind of translate into that Arabian that you were talking about. So we're getting there, and it's, you know, like, look at this technique right here. All I really have to do is just a Rudy out of it, and even though I don't stick it and pike down, I think that's mainly because my ankles still weren't feeling as fresh as I would have wanted them to, but it's all right. I'm surviving, and I'm cool. I'm cool with that amount of turns. Here, let me move myself down here. That's better. But yeah, so now just translating that whole concept into my 2.5 lays, which is pretty good. So I'm not complaining there. All right, double full punch, weak front flip. Yeah, that was not my best showing, that's for sure. But started to get there. Really, what I realized was technique wasn't as important. It was more just about me running and punching harder. And I'm trying all these things where I'm doing like a half into a back double full, and it's just not working well. Like, I'm like, that was ugly. Here, I think, is when I finally do it, and I'm like, oh, that was it. I finally did it, but I didn't like that I did it because I didn't really try anything technically different. But here I am on high bar. I think I missed a couple of my warm-up turns, but that's why I'm jumping right into the Coleman's. Things are feeling better. I do feel a lot, like, I don't know. It's been so long since I've done Coleman's. These are the first ones I've done in like a month and a half. So it's just weird to be flipping them again, like kind of like when I first came back out of quarantine. But it does feel good. I'm still just missing a lot of the points that I was hoping I would have at this point, and it's kind of a bummer. But I this week I'm starting to get more comfortable with it. And yeah, I just feel really slow on high bar. It's like a very weird feeling to have. But I'm still pushing through, and it's not hurting my elbow, and that's the most important part. And this is actually what hurt my elbow. Well, not the dismount itself. I was casting to do a dismount, and that's what re-hurt my elbow again. So as you can see, I'm doing a bunch of free hips. I'm not casting anymore. It's my way of avoiding it. But honestly, I really wish I had worked on this a long time ago, because this is helping my technique out so much for my flipping, because I have a big problem with bending my knees as I kick. And if I had really just worked on doing double layouts a lot sooner, look at this position that I'm coming off in. It's nice, hollow, head in, like I'm looking at the bar, leaving my hands, and then I'm able to sit up. Oh, and this one I did a half and half out because I was feeling spicy. But yeah, it was just like something that I really should have done back like a long time ago, just to really understand the hang, kick, and release a lot better, rather than just kind of chucking and flying, which is a lot of what I used to do. And Aiden, you're basically doing a round off half into a double front, but you go sideways too. Ah, okay. Well, I would have to kind of see it to make a better judgment, but not really sure what to go off from that. And those vaults honestly all sucked. I was disappointed. I haven't not been feeling vault very much lately. I'll kind of dive into it as I get more turns into the week, but we're getting there. And Haley, your sister's watching my live stream. Awesome. Well, tell her I said hello, or I guess she's watching. So hello to Haley's sister. And any tips for a double pike? It's really about having a nice arched takeoff, and then you're able to really wrap into a double pike. So that's the best way to go. And here's what I was talking about, guys. I start off doing my Moors on the low mushroom, my Russians, my flares. I'm like, oh, that's good. Let's test out how Busnari timers go. And you can't even see my legs. That's the amazing part. Like, look at those pants. There's nothing there. It's just floating feet. Yeah. If anyone can get a good camo joke, I can dish it, guys. But yeah, honestly, the Busnaris were looking really good, really smooth. I'm like, all right, let's test out what I just did on. Oh no, I want to try getting my basic sequence. So a little bit of what I was doing on the mushroom, I'm now trying it out on the actual horse. So I think this is probably like my third or fourth turn right now. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We've like segmented, because the week before I took a bunch of turns on the floor mushroom. This time I only took one before going up onto the pommel. So now I'm like, all right, I've got my turns, done that I got last week. Now it's time to improve on what we did last week with the extra like 4 or 5 turns that I got. So I ended up doing a Magyar, felt good, got my tongue fei, my Savato. That's 2 turns. So things are going well. Things are going real well. And yeah, I was like, all right, we've progressed. Let's call it. And so I've actually made a lot of changes on my peaches too. I remember before I was saying about like arching down a lot and throwing. Well, that can work for a lot of people, honestly. But I think the big problem I was having with my peaches was that I was always thinking of a peach done at my hips. And I'm starting to realize that that's not actually the case. It's done in your chest. And any type of, like the way you can actually get pressure and really fall back into a nice round circle through your peach is because your chest is hollowed through it. So you can lean down like this, but then push through your chest. I'm not really doing that as much. As you'll see, Donathan and I kind of have a little bit of a crash course on P-bars, I think, either this video or this day or the next P-bar day. But it'll really start showing eventually. But see, this is me trying the arch thing, and I'm like, it doesn't feel as good as it did before. So what should I be doing differently? But nonetheless, these are still the first times I'm really chucking a big peach, doing the giant. I'm feeling everything out. I'm also getting ready for this is my Healy and Makut's like timer, because then the next practice I'm going to want to do them up on the P-bars, and then the next practice I want to be able to actually put them fully onto the parallel bars. So we're slowly making progress with that. And Tara, the elbow the wrist is feeling great. It's the elbow that seems to still be causing me a little bit of issue, but I'm honestly getting a lot of headway on the recovery for that. So it's feeling really, really good. And I'm very happy with all the progress that I've been going. And Aiden, I grew my legs back, which was very appreciated because I needed some momentum for the circles. So that was good. Your sister wants to know how you put your feet and then bend them. Lots of years of practice. That's how I'll give it to you. And I can't say I know how to pronounce your name, but glad you're able to tune in for the live stream. And will Shane Wiskus be joining your training group with his move to the OPTC? Yes, he will. So I think he's coming out here shortly after Thanksgiving, and then he'll have to quarantine, and then hopefully maybe I'll throw in a couple videos of him in this new series. But yeah, so now, okay, I don't know. I did my Makut's and Healy timers on the mats on the low bar. Next progression will be up on the big bar. But now I'm also starting, because I compartmentalize my turns, I'm now also trying to do a Hanma and a front uprise for a dismount for the next day. And here's that practice I was having with DB. Hold on, let me go back real quick, because this is kind of important. So it's really, like, you could tell my chest is much more hollow. And I'm starting to get better pressure for a lot longer period of time. And it's helping my release point a lot. Even though that wasn't like the best example, it's the idea that was starting to come to life this practice, and has really blossomed over the past couple P-bar practices. How can you get some turnover onto pelts? I would say the best thing you can do for your to pelt turnover is to a lot of people won't fully extend their hips through the snap. And that's where a lot of turnover happens. So it's a throw in your shoulders, yes, which is obviously, obvious. But it's also very important that you squeeze your butt into an arch before you sit up into the straddle. And as you can tell, that ring sequence, we're starting to get a lot more pressure there, which is awesome, because I was feeling less than stellar on that for the past couple weeks. And honestly, it was kind of nervous with how much pressure actually goes down in your elbow as you do giants and as you let go for a dismount. I was actually scared about throwing for the double-double by like pulling and throwing. Like, would that be too much of an action on my elbow? But we were all good. So we made it worthwhile. And, definitely progressing on floor. Got the nice 2.5 double front. plenty of rotation on that double front half. I don't think I was really ready for that. And I rolled my toes on that last turn. How many times does that happen in a practice? Super annoying. But honestly, all of these are coming along so well. And I really have to thank strength and conditioning. We've been doing a lot. We've progressed a lot in our leg strength. And we've been tracking our power output. And it's really been very, very helpful with floor and vault. Just being able to, have a lot more control on floor, but strong legs so that they don't feel like they're going to break when I'm doing these crazy passes. A lot more stability. And as you can see, I'm bringing the double pike back. So very happy to see that. Big move there. I feel a lot more consistent with my punch by keeping my elbows down by my side. And a little crooked on that double front, but hey, we still pulled it around. And so on this one, I'm trying a double front half instead of a Randy. And I want to just see how that goes because I think I'll have better landings. But there's always incurred deduction with, lack of prep or, cowboy. So I'm still up in the air on which one I want to do. But I'm finally able to do flares on the floor. This was the last piece that I needed to actually get 100% back on floor. So right now I'm only doing 10 flares in the set. But then the next progression is going to be doing flare up, flare down. I think I got a little too antsy, actually. You'll see later in this week. I think I tried the flare spindle, but that was just not a good move. It was too much too soon. And the double full, just run faster, more power, and you're good to go. That was honestly what I was telling myself before that. The double full got the stick much better than my warm-ups, so we're getting better. We're getting better. And, let's see how this triple full goes, because this is still with that new technique where I'm trying to really, twist early. And yeah, stood that one up well. Let's see where my takeoff position was. So yeah, I'm already looking at the floor. It's like, all right, that's where I want to stick. Arms dropping, left arm dropping, right arm rising, and then it's time to just wrap into that twist. And then it really gives you a good vantage point when you already see where your direction is going by looking over your shoulder. It really shows you like where your head needs to follow and track as you're going through that triple twist, so you can spot the floor a lot better. So big moves on floor with the new twisting game. And it's Korean. Your name is M Young Woong. It's awesome to see your training videos even in South Korea. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad I was able to catch you at the right time. And Mike, no, I'm not going to be putting the air flare in. It's just, it's too, if anything, it's probably going to be too much on my elbow. And it's just not worth the effort. I'll take a flare up and down for a spindle, or for a C, rather than all the effort it takes to do 2 air flares for 1/10 more. And that twisting technique also seems pretty interesting. Yeah, Aiden, I recommend giving that one a go. And thanks, Gym Nerd. I appreciate it. Isaac, how you doing? And if you roll something that hurts, you've rolled anything, but that's gotta hurt, dude. Yeah, it's real. It's not as bad as rolling an ankle, that's for sure. But rolling the toes definitely is not a fun one to do when you're punching. There's a lot of impact. And your sister's name is Izzy. Well, hello, Izzy. Thanks for tuning in today. And I'm really about those double layouts on high bar right now. And I think I might mount, even when my elbow's fully healthy, with a, with a free hip. I'm starting to really enjoy free hip into my double flipping releases. So we've been making a lot of moves there. Something new to try, at least. I still haven't casted today. I'm very scared to cast. That's probably my biggest fear right now. It's gotten me twice, and it's just not worth it. And that was a nice free hip. It's very strange to be so stoked about it. And there's my first Coleman without a mat slide. It definitely got a little nerves on that one. Wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but I was happy with it. And that was just ugly and slow, and honestly, I wasn't doing all the right things. Another gorgeous free hip. I'm going to have to take that one to the bank and save it. And all of these, I think, that was better. It was cleaner. I had more confidence. But I'm still, obviously, I think you guys will always remember, I got that knee bend that I just don't like. I will say that was the layout Tkachevs are coming along pretty well. So really, really happy about it. And Martin, what do I think about double on rings? I aggressively try pulling the rings, to my chest, and then like chucking them as hard as I possibly can. So like I think about like doing one backflip with them, like I pull them in for one backflip and then I throw them super hard to initiate the twist. Like over exaggerate everything and then you'll do it really, really well. And Isaac thinks that was a clean double layout. Yeah, I appreciate it. First, let me just break down all the things I'm doing wrong real quick. I'm turning way too much. I'm arching. My head is looking at my left elbow, not over my right shoulder. And I am coming off totally crooked without any hip-initiated turn. So I'm going to let these play out. It's all the same correct... Oh, just kidding. It was just that one. But it's been very frustrating. I lost that feeling that I had, and I really wanted to keep that alive because it felt so good. I was doing cos 2.5s, and now I'm just barely making cos fulls. And there's some things that I want to work this week that I think I can fix from last week that I know I wasn't doing. I've also started like rereading what I wrote down in here for the past couple weeks. So I'm getting the old ideas to come to life again, and I'm excited to get back and try it out because I need a good vault day. I need the satisfaction of feeling like I'm progressing on that event again. And you like starting turns with free hips. They make sure your form is good and can be very satisfying. I agree with you, Aiden. I agree. And Haley, does the gym get crowded sometimes? No, it's really just me, Donathan, my coach, my trainer, and one other guy. And so here I am checking out the flare spindles. You know, I did it with an extra spindle, but that was just like a test. So I was like, all right, that's good. Let's see how flare up down looks. I was like, oh, that felt good. That felt natural again. So now let's do it in the routine. Starting with the double front half. Yeah, I decided not to do the double pike for this one because I still want to practice doing the Randy as my third pass. So I want to try just playing with both for right now. And a lot of over-rotation on that double front, but better to over-rotate than under-rotate. Also, I'll take that one. I'll take that one. But here goes the Randy, the test of which one's going to be better or not. And honestly, it went really well. So it didn't answer any questions. I'm just going to have to keep both alive, and then I'll be able to make a decision on what I should do, once competition time comes, because we got some time. And so, obviously, I did the flare spindle with 2 flares, and I totally gassed out. I was like, man, I'm not ready to be doing this flare sequence right now. I was definitely over ambitious with that. I should have chilled out and just done flare up and down, saved my energy, and prepped for the next week. But you live and you learn. So the next routine I do on floor, yeah, you could tell that really gassed me out. Doing that whole flare sequence, I'm huffing and puffing right now. And weird question, do I prefer foam pits or resi pits versus airbags? I would say, I think I prefer the resi pits. I've really never used an airbag. We're getting an airbag, so we'll see how that all goes, but yeah, definitely gassed out on that triple full as well. But I like the foam pits if I'm doing like high bar, I guess is the best way to put it. But everything else, like I hate crawling out of pits, so I'm just lazy like that. But yeah, so there's my answer there. And that double front was huge. Yeah, we've been getting really good. Keeping those elbows in on the punches, very, very big help when it comes to all those double flipping skills. But yeah, we're back to pommel horse to see what kind of gains we can get on this today. And because we did so well the last practice, I was like, all right, we're going to maximize with I think I only did about 8 turns or so. But I was like, let's not even touch the floor mushroom. Let's graduate from that. And let's just get more turns on the actual horse. And so here I am, just, getting my 1 pommel circles. This is my basic sequence routine. So this is like the stepping stone of all the skills that I do for my 10-skill competitive routine. This is just what I like to do for warm-up so that it really gets my basics instilled. It's really not pretty right now, but it just feels good to be able to do it again. So, knocked that one out without any falls. That was the win. And then I decided, let's go for the boost Nari. And felt good. It honestly felt like I'd never lost it kind of thing. So I was very happy that went so well. And then I fell on the Magyar the last practice. So I was like, all right, let's combine that was turn 4 or 5, and let's combine the last 4 skills of the routine so that we could start piecing together and get a little closer to a half. And so we can, in the next week, we can try just knocking out a half right out the gate. And so one pommel circle is not so hot, but I'm like, let's push through and let's get that D Russian into the triple Russian. And then at that point, I think we have, I also did my mounts, but the camera cut out, unfortunately. So that was a bummer. But on the P-bars, we're loading up these Fridays with a lot of our upper body events so that we can conserve most of our energy for that. David, how are you doing? Hope everything is going well. And Honey Badger, thanks for tuning in once again. We're cruising through. I think we've got 7 more minutes of gym video. We're on our Friday practice right now. And we've already done floor, horse, and now we're getting on to P-bars. So this should be the last event for this of a day. There we go. And yeah, here I am trying to get a little bit closer to my Makutes. Actually, no, this is still basic sequence time. But I'm just piecing a couple more things into this basic sequence warm-up because I feel a lot better. So I want to have more time for peaches. And actually, I think on this practice, I took more than 10 turns, and I was mad at myself because, let me just check this out real quick. I did... where am I? Nope. Next week. Next page. Yeah, I took 12 turns. And, that's alright. I survived. Pommel horse didn't spicy. I thought it was pretty spicy. I was happy with that. I got some good things in here, but here I am working on that drop. And this is when I started figuring out that it's in your chest and not in your hips. Look at that drop. Look at that turtle back. It just rides so nice. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that real quick. We're gonna slow-mo this bad boy. Look at that hollow in the chest. My hips really aren't even like piked at all. And I pivot, I'm still tight, I'm planging, but my chest is what's pulling me back, not my hips. And that's what helps me get into a much deeper round circle, so I have more time to ride through the peach. I don't feel like I'm slipping at the bottom because I'm, crashing and, hitting bottom. But, which I was always trying to do, but I was always trying to do it with my hips rather than my chest. So definitely recommend over-exaggerating your chest into a hollow position. And yeah, here I am trying to, get myself psyched up for some Makutses in the near future. I still felt like I need a little more practice with, getting the muscle memory for that Makutes turning. Not ready for the full thing yet, but I'm pretty sure I end up stepping up to the drop portion of that skill with the mat on the big bar. Yeah, so this is where it's going to go down because the last practice I did it on the low bar. And as you can see, it's probably a good thing I had this mat here because that would have been very, very ugly had I not had this more gradual progression. So turn 2 is better. Turn 3 I think ends up being pretty decent as well. So we're making moves. And then I think the next one's going to be Makutes time. Got DB holding. Definitely lost some pressure, bent the elbow there. I was a little nervous that was going to hurt me, but felt fine. And the next 2, honestly, were really, well, the next one was good. That third one was not, but this 4th one will be even better. And Andre even complimented me on it afterwards. It's like, oh, you look comfortable, you look stable. And I was like, oh, best thing I could hear from the coach right now. And here I am trying to get my technique back, but I'm still just I'm missing the part, here, I'll pause it. I'm missing where my hips are facing this wall. Right now they're facing this wall. I need them here. And that's probably one of the biggest issues. And Andre was trying to tell me how I can counter rotate in my shoulders. But really what I need, yeah, let's see how awkward that one was, just flying squirrel in it. And it just was getting frustrating. And I was like, we need to go back to the drawing board and we'll be able to figure it out. So we'll get there the week that I'm on right now, make some moves. I honestly was supposed to do this on Sunday, but me and I have been decorating the house like crazy, so I was like, I don't want to do a video right now. We're just cruising through Christmas decorations, and can't take away from our speed on that, and the house looks awesome now. So hopefully I'll be good on this next coming Sunday. But back to high bar, we got a little basic sequence here for you. And David, how can you get a double back on rings? I mean, get spotted. Make sure you just throw the rings and stay tight with your head in and a hollow chest, and you'll be good to go. And what up, Josh? How are you doing? Glad you were able to tune in once again. And Rebecca, you're a level 6 gymnast. Any tips on how to get a giant on high bar? Yeah, it's about really keeping your head in for a large portion, opening your shoulders into a tight arch, and then as you kick, watch your toes come up over the bar. Most important things you can do for a giant. And are you crazy, or is Donovan's hair different? It's just really big right now. He's got a lot of hair. We haven't had haircuts in a while, so we're getting there. And yeah, Josh, glad I'm able to give you these updates. So appreciate you tuning in, man. It's been a while since I've done a gaming stream. I just haven't really been on the gaming lifestyle, so we're making moves. And glad I was able to help, David. But yeah, now we're getting into these Colemans. Really just not feeling what I want. I think I'm going to do another Coleman. I'm going to break it down real quick. Let's see, yeah, I'm going to do another one. So what I'm really just missing is a lot of just my chest position. I'm just very flat through it all. And that's why my knees bend, because of the lack of change in my shoulders. I think what I was misconstruing before was how your head position correlates with your chest position. But I really started realizing this week how I can still have my head be like neutral up looking at the bar, but still be hollow and arched as I'm going through my range of motion and my taps. And so I think that's a lot of what I needed, the takeaways that I was getting from this practice to help me for the next couple weeks. And starting to get ready for connecting some Tkachevs. So, you know, we got some big things on the horizon. And here I am. I'm trying to change my chest position more. But I think I just kind of got lost in what I was trying to do. And I'm really trying to open a lot earlier here. I think that's the big takeaway, so I can help initiate my flip a lot better. And then what do I got going on this turn? Layout Tkachev, which honestly felt really good. Still not as aggressive a kick as I would have wanted going into that straddle, potential straddle Tkachev, but you know, we're making moves. And the Zuli was nice. I don't think this Quas is that good. It's a little slow, a little loose. The Stalders are always such a challenge. I don't know why. Oh yeah, the mat setup was a little janky, so I didn't want to dismount there. Staying safe. And Haley, yeah, Andre is a nice coach. He's a good guy for that. Is there any drills you can work on for a double back? Yeah, just do really high layouts. Keep your head in. Do like a layout to your back. And then honestly, just doing double backs on the tramp into a pit is just a good way to go. If you have a pit, I mean, the progression really just goes from doing a layout and then just sitting up for a second and then pulling your legs into your arms. And that's the best way to go. And so I think I'd made some big moves on rings on this day. I was like, all right, we got some giants. We did our dismount. My my shoot through is honestly really garbage right now, which is unfortunate. But we're getting there. But I, got to that handstand pretty easily. My shoulders are feeling better from the last week because I had overdone a lot of my rehab and it was kind of bothering my shoulder. So I was like, all right, we're going to just go for a cast a handstand. Kind of overambitious. I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out. But really the goal I had for this turn was to do good giant, which wasn't very, little banana back as my old coach used to call it. But I was like, all right, that was decent enough. I'll take it. But here's the big move for this practice. Got the Yamawaki in there. And I was a little nervous with casting big, how that was going to be on my elbow. And rolling through that range of motion, how that was going to be on my elbow. But honestly, it felt good. So no complaints. And then I was like, all right, it's time to do a little ring dismount practice. Shoot through still pulled a little bit much. But for whoever, I forgot who was asking about that double-double. The big thing you can do, I mean, you'll see here, I pull a lot. I'm still I guess I didn't pull as much on this one as I probably do on other ones. But, big throw. Look how far that arm comes out. I'm chucking that thing so hard to initiate that turn. But, yeah, that still was not my best double-double. But, with that being said, it was still a decent showing for the week. And I'm going to keep on this trend of progressing with my 10 skill maximum turns on an event. The shorter I get, the better, honestly, because the maximum amount of turns you take for a competition is going to be 3. At the most, in warm-up, you're going to get 3 turns before you have to go and salute your routine. So the more I can condense things to get closer to that, and then have 7 turns of skill development and perfection work, then that's going to be where I really start taking off, and then be able to start building into those routines and stuff. So really looking forward to what the future has in store for me. The elbow's been getting a lot better, trusting it a lot more through my gymnastics and on a lot of elements. So very happy about that. But that's as much as I got for the actual video portion. I'm going to stick around, and I'll obviously answer all your guys' questions that you got in chat. And then we'll conclude, and we'll get on to the next week. But with that, let me see where